The powers that are in place in this world are only operating by the power that the Lord allows them to have. Let's grasp that. The powers that are in place in this world are only operating by the power that resides in the hand of God, that He is allowed to have that power. What does that mean? Well, that means that whoever sits on the Supreme Court only sits in that seat because the supreme judge and the ruler over all, the one that sits on high in his heavenly home, that sits upon his throne, that he sovereignly allowed it to take place. It means that whoever wins the upcoming election up in November has been sovereignly allowed to fill that role. Does that excuse us from doing our part? Absolutely not. No. Many of us this past week, we went and voted and we did what it is that we were supposed to do. And we voted for the best person that we believed that would do the job in the best way. But when we can completely acknowledge and genuinely believe that God is sovereignly ruling over all that is taking place in this world, then we can rest in the fact that the authority and power that man possesses is something that God has given out. Now, I know that's going to be a hard pill for some people to swallow, because we believe if we don't elect the right person, our beliefs are going to be trampled upon. If we don't elect the right person and the wrong person gets put on the Supreme Court, then I believe that our faith is going to be dismantled, and that all that we hold dear is going to be torn down. And that some people are losing their minds as a result of they believe that the previous 2 years, if something is changed in the way that we've been able to exercise freedom in these past 2 years, our religious freedoms will be gone. And that it's going to be taken away, and that Christianity will be absolutely eradicated. Here's what I got to say to that. All power and authority resides in the hand of God. He who sits in the heaven laughs. The Lord holds them in derision. Nero was a raving lunatic that caught half the city on fire. There were dictators and there were rulers long before the oppression that we're facing right now that they used to use Christians as lampposts in the city. There are people that are all over the world right now they are losing their lives for the name and for the cause of Christ. And guess what? Our God reigns. And in those cultures, in those circumstances, through those situations, just like this passage of Scripture, when people come up against the good news of the gospel of God and God's people that are being martyred and that are being oppressed and they're being pushed down, guess what? The message of the gospel isn't hindered, it actually flourishes. It actually grows. It actually increases as a result of the oppression that takes place.